She thinks she's got you all figured out. She believes you'll always be there, always available, always chasing, always ready to prove your worth. But what happens when you stop? What happens when you flip the script and teach her a lesson she never saw coming? See, attraction isn't just about chemistry. It's about uncertainty, mystery, and knowing when to step back so she can step forward. And the truth is, most guys never teach this lesson because they're too scared to lose her. But here's the twist. It's the men who teach this one hard lesson who become unforgettable. The ones who create space, who show they're not afraid to walk away, who force her to feel the difference between presence and absence. They're the ones women chase. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to teach this lesson, without playing games, without manipulation, and you'll watch her chase you like never before. Let's get started. Number 1. The power shift starts with you. Most guys think they need to change how she feels. But the truth is, the moment you stop making her the center of your world, the power shifts. You don't need to convince her to want you. You just need to show her you're perfectly fine without her attention. Marcus Aurelius said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. That's the lesson most men overlook. You're not in control of her emotions, her choices, or whether she comes back. But you are in control of how you carry yourself, how you react, and whether you let her absence shake your foundation. Here's where it gets interesting. When a woman senses that you no longer orbit around her, when she realizes that your happiness isn't tied to her approval, something shifts in her mind. She starts wondering why. Why aren't you chasing? Why aren't you reacting? And more importantly, why does it feel like she's losing you? This is the moment when she starts to feel what you once felt. The uncertainty, the curiosity, the urge to get a response. It's not manipulation, it's human psychology. The less available something is, the more valuable it becomes. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Wasting time trying to convince someone to see your worth is the fastest way to drain your energy. Instead, invest that time into yourself, your goals, your mind, your peace. Imagine this. You used to double text her, checking if she wanted to hang out. Now, you're out with friends, focused on your work, hitting the gym, or picking up a new skill. She notices the difference. She feels the space you've created. And that space? That's what makes her chase. This is the hard lesson. When you stop prioritizing her more than yourself, you become the prize. She starts to see what she took for granted. And when she realizes she no longer has easy access to you, the dynamic flips. You don't have to be cold or rude, just detached, just unshaken. Just the man who values himself enough to walk away when he isn't appreciated. She won't just notice the change, she'll feel it. And when she does, watch how she starts chasing you. Number 2, detachment is magnetic. There's something irresistible about a man who's emotionally unbothered. Not cold, not rude, just a man who stands steady no matter what's happening around him. And here's the thing. Women can feel that energy from miles away. When she senses that her presence or absence doesn't shake you, it sparks something in her mind. She starts asking herself questions she never asked before. Why isn't he affected by me? Why does he seem so calm, so sure of himself? What changed? And the more those questions circle in her head, the more you occupy her thoughts. This is exactly what the Stoics meant when they talked about being indifferent to externals. Epictetus taught that we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. Most guys crumble the moment a woman pulls away, They obsess, overthink, and chase. But the man who stays centered, the man who isn't shaken by her silence, that man stands out. It's not about playing games or pretending not to care. It's about showing, through your actions, not your words, that your sense of peace doesn't come from her attention. It comes from within you. Whether she's all in, halfway out, or completely gone, you're good either way. Think about it like this. Imagine you're at a party, and there's one guy standing calmly, enjoying himself, not seeking attention, not trying to impress anyone. Meanwhile, other guys are circling, desperate to be noticed. Who do you think draws the most curiosity? It's always the one who doesn't need it. That's the man she remembers. That's the man she wants to understand. When you detach from the outcome, when you're perfectly fine, whether she stays or goes, you become magnetic. You radiate a quiet strength that's impossible to ignore. And that strength pulls her in, not because you're trying to make her chase, but because she can't help but wonder why you're so comfortable standing still while others scramble for her attention. That's the power of detachment. And when you embrace it, you'll see how naturally the chase begins. If you're finding value in this perspective, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Or, if you resonate with the idea of being unbothered and steady, just type "steadiness is strength" in the comments to let us know. Now, let's continue on this journey together. Number 3. Your value exists without her. Here's the reality. Your value has nothing to do with her attention. Whether she's texting you nonstop or acting like you don't exist, it doesn't change who you are. You were a man of value before she came into your life, and you'll be a man of value long after, because your worth isn't tied to her presence, her affection, or her approval. A Stoic man understands this at his core. His sense of self doesn't rise or fall based on how anyone treats him. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That's the mindset. You focus on being the kind of man you can respect, and everything else becomes background noise. Too many guys hand over their sense of worth the moment they meet a woman they like. They start performing for her attention, twisting themselves into whatever they think she wants. But here's the truth. That energy is repelling, not attractive. Why? Because it tells her you see her as the prize and yourself as someone waiting to be chosen. Flip that script. Your value comes from your standards, your purpose, your discipline, and how you show up in your own life, with or without her. Imagine a man who's building something real, his career, his fitness, his mindset. A man who wakes up with purpose, who knows his worth because he's earned it through his own efforts. That's a man who doesn't need external validation to feel secure. And that's rare. When a woman meets a man like that, she can't help but wonder, why doesn't he need me to feel complete? Why isn't he trying to impress me? What is it about him that makes him so solid, so self-assured? That curiosity is the spark. The chase doesn't begin because you played some game. It begins because she senses something in you that most men don't have. That unshakable sense of self. That quiet confidence that says, "I want you, but I don't need you." And the moment you fully embrace that truth, that your value existed long before she noticed you, is the moment you become the kind of man she wants to chase. Because women are drawn to men who know their worth, not the ones waiting for someone else to tell them. Number 4. Silence is a weapon and a mirror. Sometimes, the loudest thing you can say is nothing at all. Most guys think they need to talk their way back into her heart, sending paragraphs, explaining themselves, trying to prove their worth with words. But a man who understands his value knows that silence speaks louder than any speech ever could. When you step back, when you remove yourself from her life, you create space. And that space does the talking for you. That silence becomes a mirror. A mirror that forces her to sit with her own thoughts, her own feelings, her own memories of you. Every moment you shared, every joke, every touch, every time you showed up for her, all of it comes rushing back when you're no longer there, filling the silence. And here's the thing. When a woman has time to reflect without your presence clouding her mind, she starts to feel the weight of that absence. That's when curiosity creeps in. Why did he pull back? Why isn't he reaching out? Does he not care anymore? It's a Stoic move through and through. The ancient Stoics practiced negative visualization, imagining the loss of something to appreciate its value. By stepping away, you're not punishing her. You're giving her a taste of what life feels like without you in it. No begging, no chasing, no convincing. Just space for her to realize what she had. Think of it like this. When you're always available, always in her messages, always showing up, there's no room for her to feel your absence. But when you remove yourself, that silence becomes heavy. It forces her to confront the void you left behind. And if you were a man of value, if you brought her laughter, security, passion, and peace, that silence becomes uncomfortable for her. Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Your silence isn't just her trial, it's yours too. It's where you learn to sit with your own strength, to trust your value without needing constant validation. And when you can master that silence, when you can be perfectly fine without her response, that's when the power shifts. That's when she starts to wonder if she misjudged you. That's when the chase begins. Because the hardest man to forget is the one who had the courage to walk away and the strength to stay silent. As we explore the profound impact of silence in relationships, I invite you to pause and reflect on your own experiences. Have you ever found silence to be more powerful than words in a personal situation? Share your stories or thoughts in the comments below. Engaging with your insights not only enriches our community, but also deepens our understanding of these principles in real-life scenarios. Now, let's continue. Number 5. The calm within the storm. When most guys get ignored, they panic. They overthink every little silence, replay every conversation, and start imagining worst-case scenarios. And before they know it, they're blowing up her phone, sending emotional texts, trying to force a response. But not you. You don't play that game. You stay calm. You're not chasing. You're not begging. You're not performing tricks to get her attention back. You're just living your life, the same life that was valuable before she came along, and the same life that will keep moving forward, with or without her in it. That unshakable calm is rare. It's the kind of energy that women aren't used to, and it's the kind that draws them in. Epictetus said it best. It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. A woman pulling away, going quiet, or testing your emotional control is not what breaks a man. What breaks him is his reaction, or lack of control over it. Most guys reveal their insecurity the moment she ignores them. But the Stoic man? He sees it for what it is. Just noise, just a moment. It doesn't touch his sense of self-worth. That calmness does two things. First, it confuses her. She's used to men reacting, getting upset, asking what's wrong, demanding explanations. When you don't do any of that, it forces her to wonder, why isn't he affected? Does he not care? Did I misread his interest? That confusion plants the seed. Second, it attracts her, because nothing is more intriguing than a man who can't be emotionally controlled. A man who isn't triggered by silence or rejection is a man who's mastered himself. And that's the kind of man women can't help but chase. Picture it. You're the calm eye in the middle of her emotional storm. While she's creating chaos, testing boundaries, or pulling back to see how you'll react, you're steady, unbothered, focused on your purpose. That quiet confidence, that refusal to break under pressure, that is what separates you from every other man she's ever met. And here's the beauty of it. You're not doing it to impress her. You're doing it because you value your peace more than her attention. That's Stoicism in action, mastering yourself, so nothing external can master you. And when you embrace that calm, watch how she comes looking for the storm she expected, only to find a man she can't resist. Number 6. The lesson of scarcity. Whatever is rare becomes valuable. It's human nature. When something is always available, we take it for granted. When something is scarce, we desire it more. The same principle applies to your attention. If you give it away freely, she won't think twice about it. But the moment you start treating it like something that must be earned, something given only to those who truly appreciate it, the dynamic shifts. This is where most men go wrong. They overextend, constantly making themselves available, responding instantly, and rearranging their lives just to keep her interested. But a Stoic man? He moves differently. He understands that his time, his energy, and his focus are his most valuable assets, so he guards them. He gives them only to people who respect them. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly. Your mind will take the shape of what you frequently hold in thought. If you're always thinking about her, obsessing over her actions, making her the center of your world, your energy will reflect that, and she'll feel it. But what happens when she suddenly isn't your priority? When she realizes you're no longer waiting around, no longer making yourself so easy to reach? That's when the scarcity effect kicks in. That's when she starts to miss what she once had unlimited access to. Imagine this. She used to be able to text you whenever she wanted, and you'd drop everything to respond. Now, you're slow to reply, not because you're playing games, but because you're busy, because you have a life, because you're focused on things that actually matter. When she does see you, you're present, confident, and engaged. But you're not desperate to keep her there. You're not seeking validation. You're simply enjoying the moment, knowing that your life is full, with or without her. That's the lesson of scarcity. It's not about manipulating her. It's about valuing yourself. When a woman senses that your time is something precious, something that not just anyone can have, she starts to view you as precious. And that shift? That's what makes her chase. Because deep down, she doesn't want a man who is always available. She wants a man who is so focused on his purpose, his growth, his mission, that when he does give his time, it actually means something. And that's the kind of man she won't want to lose. As we delve into the concept of scarcity and its role in enhancing perceived value, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on your own interactions. Have you noticed a difference in how people respond to you when you adjust how freely you give your time and attention? Share your insights in the comments below, or simply type "value my time" to affirm the importance of respecting your own resources. Let's continue exploring how these shifts can not only change the way others perceive us, but also how we value ourselves in relationships and beyond. Number 7. Boundaries without explanation. Weak men explain. Strong men enforce. Most guys think they need to justify their boundaries, like they owe a woman an explanation for why they won't tolerate certain behavior. They'll say things like, "I just don't like it when you do that," or "I really wish you wouldn't treat me this way." But a man who truly respects himself doesn't ask to be respected. He simply removes himself when he isn't. If she crosses a line, you don't argue, you don't beg, and you definitely don't whine. You just calmly step back. No drama, no emotional outbursts, no long speeches about how you deserve better. Your actions say it all. And that's what commands respect. A Stoic man doesn't justify his standards. He lives them. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." That's the energy you need to carry. If a woman senses that your words and actions don't align, she won't take you seriously. But if she sees that you're a man who follows through, that when you say you won't tolerate disrespect, you actually walk away, she feels that strength. And strength is magnetic. Think about it. Women don't respect men who fold the moment they meet resistance. They respect the man who stands firm, who doesn't let his emotions sway him, who is perfectly willing to walk away rather than compromise his self-worth. That quiet confidence? That's what forces her to see you differently. And here's the key. When you enforce boundaries without explanation, you make her wonder, why isn't he reacting? Why didn't he argue? Did I just lose him? That uncertainty is powerful because it forces her to reflect, to reevaluate, to chase the respect that you never asked for, but naturally commanded. Respect is the foundation of attraction. Without it, nothing else matters. So don't explain your boundaries. Just become the man who enforces them effortlessly. And watch how she starts to treat you differently. Number 8. You walk away from the table. The hardest lesson of all? Showing her you're willing to walk away. Most guys are terrified of losing a woman. They grip too tightly, overcompensate, and hold on even when they know she's pulling away. They think that if they just try harder, explain more, or prove their worth, she'll finally see their value. But that kind of fear-driven attachment, it does the opposite. It makes her feel like she's in control, like she can come and go as she pleases while you sit there waiting. Not you. You're different, because you've embraced the Stoic mindset, amor fati, the love of fate. You don't resist what is. If she wants to walk, you let her. If she loses interest, you don't fight for something that isn't meant for you. Because a man who values himself knows that he doesn't need to convince anyone to stay. Walking away isn't weakness, it's strength. And that kind of strength is rare. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs? If she's meant to be in your life, she will be. If she isn't, no amount of chasing will change that." And here's the irony. The moment you truly accept this, the moment you show her that you're perfectly fine without her, she feels it. That unshakable calm, that quiet detachment. It shifts everything. Because now, the fear isn't yours. It's hers. What if I misjudged him? What if I walked away from something real? That fear of loss, that realization that you're not waiting around for her, is what makes her want to fight to stay in your life. Think about it. A man who needs her will do anything to keep her. But a man who chooses her without needing her holds all the power. That's the man she respects. That's the man she desires. So when the moment comes, when she starts pulling back, when she tests to see if you'll break, do nothing. Stand firm. And if she truly wants to go, let her. Because a man who is willing to walk away is a man she will always want to follow. Number 9. The power of your absence. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder, but in reality, it makes the mind go wild. When you're no longer in her life, when you've stepped back and let the silence do its work, she has no choice but to sit with her own thoughts. And here's where things get interesting. She's no longer reacting to you in real time, no longer distracted by your presence. Instead, her mind starts filling in the gaps. She replays moments, wonders what you're doing, and suddenly the version of you in her mind becomes larger than life. This is human nature. The more we lack something, the more we crave it. And when she realizes that you're really gone, not just playing games, not just waiting in the background, but actually living your life without hesitation, it triggers something deep inside her. She starts questioning, did I underestimate him? Did I lose something valuable? And that doubt is what brings her back. Seneca said, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. Most men can't handle being absent. They fold. They reach out too soon. They can't sit with the uncertainty. But the man who can? The man who is truly comfortable in his own solitude? That's rare. And in a world where men constantly seek validation, a man who embraces his own presence instead of chasing hers is a man she won't forget. Think about it like this. If you remove something ordinary from her life, she won't think twice. But if you remove something valuable, a man of depth, of presence, of quiet confidence, that absence stings. She starts noticing the difference. She starts feeling it. And before long, she's wondering why she ever let you go in the first place. The power isn't in what you say. It's in what you don't say. It's in your ability to walk away without bitterness, to move forward without hesitation. Because when a woman senses that you're not waiting for her to return, that's when she starts wondering if she should. Number 10. You are the prize, not the pursuer. Here's the shift. You're not chasing her. She's chasing you. Why? Because you've stepped into your value. Not because you played games, not because you followed some manipulative strategy, but because you've become a man so undeniable that your attention is a gift, not a given. Most men operate from a place of scarcity. They see a woman they desire and immediately place her on a pedestal, acting as if her approval is the missing piece to their happiness. But a Stoic man? He knows better. He doesn't need to be chosen. He chooses himself. His value isn't up for negotiation. It isn't dependent on external validation. It exists because he has built himself into a man of purpose, discipline, and strength. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." The man who craves her attention, who needs her to validate his worth, is always at a disadvantage. But the man who sees himself as the prize, the man who is complete with or without her, that's the man she can't ignore. Imagine this. Two men are interested in the same woman. One floods her with messages, rearranges his schedule for her, and anxiously waits for her replies. The other? He's calm. He's focused. He sees her as a potential addition to his life, not the center of it. Which man do you think she'll be drawn to? The one trying to prove himself, or the one who already knows his worth? When you embrace this truth, that you are the prize, you stop seeking validation from anyone else. You don't chase, you don't beg, and you don't lower your standards just to be accepted. And that quiet self-respect? That's what pulls her in. Because deep down, women don't want a man who needs to be reassured that he's enough. They want a man who already knows he is. And when you embody that mindset, when you live it fully, you won't have to chase. She'll come to you. Number 11, the hardest lesson of all. The final lesson is the hardest. You belong to yourself first. Most men build their identity around having a woman. They convince themselves that once they win her over, their life is complete. But that's a dangerous mindset, because when your sense of fulfillment depends on someone else, you hand them control over your emotions, your decisions, your very sense of self. And when they pull away, you crumble. The real victory? It's in realizing you never needed her in the first place. A Stoic man understands this at his core. He doesn't seek external validation. He doesn't chase someone in hopes of feeling complete. He is whole on his own. He knows that whether she stays or goes, his life remains rich, his purpose remains firm, and his peace remains intact. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." What does that mean? It means a man should never make a woman his purpose. His purpose should be greater. His ambitions, his discipline, his growth. A man on his mission is already fulfilled, and that is what makes him attractive. Here's where most men get it wrong. They believe that if they show a woman they care, if they make themselves readily available, if they prove how devoted they are, she will stay. But attraction doesn't work that way. Women are drawn to strength, not in the form of arrogance or dominance, but in self-mastery. They want a man who is in control of himself, who doesn't need them to feel validated. And here's the paradox. The moment you truly internalize this, when you stop seeking approval, when you stand firm in your own value, when you move through life with quiet, unshakable confidence, that's when she starts to feel the shift. She begins to wonder why you're different, why you're not desperate for her attention, why you're not reacting to every little thing she does. And before she knows it, she's thinking about you, chasing you. Because that kind of self-mastery, that kind of calm detachment, is the rarest thing a woman will ever see. And that's why, once you teach her this lesson, you won't have to chase her, because she'll be the one chasing you. As we wrap up this enlightening journey, remember, the power to alter the dynamics of any relationship always starts with you. Embrace the Stoic wisdom we've shared today, and you'll discover a profound shift not just in how others respond to you, but in how you perceive yourself. It's not about diminishing her importance in your life, but about elevating your own self-respect and autonomy. When you stop reacting and start reflecting, when you prioritize your own peace and purpose over pursuing someone else's approval, you unlock a level of attraction and respect that is both powerful and enduring. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about being hard to forget. By mastering the art of detachment, you teach her the hardest lesson of all, that your value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. If you found value in what we discussed today, don't forget to hit that like button. It really supports the channel. Leave a comment below, sharing your thoughts or experiences related to today's topic. Have you ever noticed a change in someone's behavior when you started focusing more on yourself? And if you want to dive deeper into transforming your relationships through Stoic principles, check out the recommended videos popping up on your screen right now. Thank you for watching, and remember, in the game of love and life, the one who values themselves is the one who ultimately commands respect and attraction. Subscribe for more insights, and until next time, keep cultivating your inner strength.